Antarctica is a vast expanse of white on our planet, covered in ice and with a climate too harsh for human habitation. However, this snowy mass at first glance appears to conceal the darkest mysteries in the world. Antarctica, despite seeming devoid of any peculiarities other than being the coldest place on Earth, is, in fact, one of the most enigmatic locations globally. Numerous chilling legends circulate about Antarctica, including tales of ghosts. It is believed that the spirits of explorers, scientists, and tourists wander through icy wastelands and abandoned buildings where they once lived. Hello, my name is Izek, and I was one of the pilots of the passenger plane that crashed on November 28, 1979. Behind me was our New Zealand aircraft. We were flying with tourists to marvel at the scenery from the air when we collided with the slope of the dormant volcano. Areas due to poor visibility on board. There were 257 people on board, and 250 of them died instantly. 6 of us, including myself, the pilot, and 6 passengers, met a gruesome and mysterious death over the course of the day. Why am I here before you? If I died many years ago, listen to me. I have little time. I have risen from the beyond to tell you this story. Many may not believe it, but try. Today we find ourselves in the most extensive air tragedy in the history of Antarctic exploration. Some bodies of our tourists were preserved at the McMurdo Station, the American base on Ross Island. Many visitors believe that the ghosts of the catastrophe victims are still there. People claim to hear our voices and see inexplicable traces in the snow. But let's get back to what happened to us, the survivors, after the plane crash. Have you ever heard of cryon? Creatures adapted to the harsh temperatures of Antarctica. These animals feel quite comfortable amid the brutal cold as they have an entirely different biological nature. We named these terrifying creatures Izek's monsters after me, as I was the first to encounter them on the coldest continent on our planet, just a day after the plane crash. Myself and the 6 surviving tourists tried to find any place where we could warm up. We headed south, and our group immediately lost one person who constantly lagged behind. We started searching for him and discovered a massive crack into which he had fallen. His figure was visible in the depth. I decided to descend after him, hoping he might still be alive. As I continued my descent, it got colder. At a depth of about 140 meters, I reached an ice ledge where the man had fallen, but his body had disappeared. Only traces remained. Who or what could drag the body away in this place where the temperature was around 70 degrees Celsius? I shone my flashlight downward and briefly caught sight of 2 glowing eyes of a monster in its lair. I noticed the body of the fallen tourist. The monster darted away from the flashlight beam and vanished from sight. I saw no one else. I tried to see more while descending further, but I lacked the necessary equipment. As I emerged, a strong wind blew, making any outing deadly. Nevertheless, we pressed on. There were 6 of us left. About 30 minutes later, having continued our journey, we lost 2 more. I and 3 others took shelter from the strong wind in an ice cave. When the weather calmed down slightly, we discovered the dead bodies of the 2 missing ones about 2 kilometers away. It turned out that, strangely, much of what remained of them was their clothing and flesh, devoid of a single bone. I immediately recalled the encounter with the monster in the ice crack a couple of hours ago. I think these 2 guys saw something that made them move away from us, and then the bad weather simply blocked their path. And when they froze, the Antarctic monster did its job. All that was left of them was clothes and flesh, without a single bone. I immediately remembered the encounter with the monster in the ice crack a couple of hours ago. I convinced the remaining survivors that what I had seen was pursuing us. One or several monsters. We scattered in different directions with fear overwhelming us. We paid no attention to the cold and snow. Suddenly, in an instant, these monsters attacked us, tearing us apart. Yes, they separated our bones from the flesh. Everyone who was on the plane on that fateful day just vanished. Only I remain to tell you this story. It turns out that deep in Antarctica, polar cryons live. These creatures are carbon dioxide-based beings for whom the optimal temperature is 70 degrees and below. That's why they are concentrated around the South Pole, where the temperatures are the lowest. When the warmer sunny time comes, they probably just go into hibernation, hiding deep under the ice. The best time for them is the polar night. Living here as a ghost among them, no one will escape them if a cryon sees you even once. Just accept that you will be devoured. Do not come to the cold parts of Antarctica. With you was the pilot of the crashed passenger plane in Antarctica, Izek.